I do have to address something. Right, so I did in fact used to have a manager, and if you were close with me, you knew that very well. If not, then you probably didn't know, and that's okay. So at this manager, I didn't really have too much to go off, and to be fair, I didn't personally feel like they were entirely professional anyway. But then a lot of stuff started coming out about this manager, like a week before I decided to end services with them. It was more so just like things that he'd done to other individuals or other VTubers, and just how he handles things in general. So there was a public post that he made that got a little out of hand, and I'm talking about very out of hand, where he was accusing someone of copying them. And I had to explain to him, as his talent, that that's not acceptable because he's a manager. And it's just, unfortunately, if you have a manager and you're a VTuber, literally what your manager does gets considered as an extension of you. It shouldn't be that way. Absolutely not. But it does happen, right? Especially in the VTubing space. So I told him that that post was unnecessary, and that I felt like he should apologize to the people that he was going off on in the comments. And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to apologize to everyone he was going off to in the comments. He only wanted to apologize to big VTubers, which I was just like, that's ridiculous, and I think you should apologize to everyone that you went off on, but go off. Then more information started coming off on him about how he dropped a client that he was working with for a long time that gave him the opportunity to even start doing management work, that also was helping him build his business and whatever. He dropped them for a more abusive VTuber because of money. I don't like that. That's not loyalty. That's not like, if you would drop someone at the drop of a hat for that, I think that's ridiculous. And it's even shown that the person who he originally working with was willing to, despite this person being abusive to them, was still willing to stay working with them, and was even willing to like put those differences aside. With that information to me, that showed me that not a loyal manager, and that I wasn't comfortable with that, right? Especially since he went out of his way to get this business opportunity. It's not like this person hit him up and then they were talking to him. No, he went out of his way to speak to this person in order to get this business opportunity. So I felt like that was inappropriate as a manager to do, especially when you have a client where there could be a conflict of interest, and this client you've been with for so long, you decide to drop them. It's more of a loyalty thing. I think that's fucked up to do. And when I addressed him about it, he, instead of taking accountability, he blamed the person who told me about the information, then proceeded to block me. So I said, all right, cool. We are no longer going to be working with each other starting May 31st. And since then, I haven't been working with them. That was crazy to experience and even find out. Like, all this information, I didn't find out till the end of May. On top of that, apparently, he was under a different name in the Brazilian Portuguese community, and he was constantly flirting with other females despite having a fiance. So I do think like that was crazy to find out. I thought you have a new manager now. I'm not going to announce them yet, but I do indeed am seeing a new manager now. And hopefully we're going to keep working together for a while. And I like genuinely growing with people, which is why I end up like working with a lot of different people that like are smaller, like small, but I know they have the potential to grow. So yeah, basically I like that. And what pissed me off is the fact that people are either taking his side or just not spreading awareness about him. I've noticed that too. This individual, this manager that did this and whatever, actually has not like taken any accountability, apologized to it, or even acknowledged the document that's spreading about him, and no one else is spreading awareness about it. Instead, he's getting new clients, and I worry for them. I understand that he may be getting them views or something, but I worry for them because of his professionalism. Mind you, like this person, like I said, I was working with them for 2 months, but I noticed like their professionalism was not all that there in terms of their own Twitter posts and in terms of like us in communicating. They would not keep up with all of their weekly scheduled video calls that we were supposed to do, or they actually would just fall off the face of the fucking earth for a little bit before telling me that, oh, they're not feeling good or whatnot. And then when I would ask them like, okay, so when are we actually going to meet, there would be no schedule or anything. Same with like content posting, because they actually put that they would post the content that I was making. They kind of fell off on that. Because of that, I was just not comfortable continuing working with them anymore. It wasn't just, oh, these Google documents dropped off and then I cut them off. No, it was just like a pattern that I was seeing that I felt like if I stood there, it was going to continue just progressively getting worse and I wasn't going to enjoy my experience with them. And I don't like to do that, right? I like to always see the good in people. And so I give everyone chances. It doesn't matter what they do. But then when they continue to like take advantage of that, then that's where I step back and I pull aside and or I'm just like, you know what, I'm not doing that. I will say that they have helped me grow for the 2 months that they were there. They helped quite a bit with like SEO and stuff like that. And I did appreciate them and I wish them well. But I do wish that he would, one, take accountability for what he did and what he said, and two, would just change, like, okay, let me admit that I made a mistake. Let me focus on fixing that mistake and then let me grow from that mistake. I feel like, but if this person is gonna do that, it's entirely up to them. Am I gonna name drop them? Absolutely not. I will not name drop them. But if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. Just a little more context about why it bothered me so much is because I trusted this person enough for them to see my in real life face. So obviously, like, everything that was coming out was just like a big drop on me. And no, I wasn't sad. I didn't freaking cry or anything, but I was disappointed and very upset that this was the individual that was doing stuff like this. I did feel like it was inappropriate. Like, they did more so my mutuals wrong than he did me wrong. It's just the way he was speaking to me was very gaslighty, and I didn't like that. Like, I was like, no, you're not gonna gaslight me. I know who I am, and the fact that I even have to go here and try to tell you about PR and fixing your mistake is ridiculous. As like, you're my manager, not the other way around.